you hear me? We can begin.
Okay, we are only 10 right now. Are we still waiting on people, or shall we begin? All right, before we start, maybe a little sign from everybody. Can you just write in the chat if you can hear me and see my, please? Okay. I don't get many reactions. Hila, I guess we can just start. And I will trust that everybody is hearing me. If not, they will feel free to use the chat to let me know if there is any issue. All right? Perfect.
Let's begin.
And hello from Wiesbaden, Germany. My name is Adil. I work for Cebit Media as partner manager. I'm responsible for all the partner relations, the relationship we have with Matrix DevOps from Tel Aviv. About 3 months ago, I was in Herzliya with the Matrix DevOps team, where I met Oren, Hila, Asaf, Tal, Shirley, where we introduced and formalized our Linchpin partnership. Linchpin is one of our products that is a Confluence-based intranet solution. Wait, I'm just getting a message that someone cannot hear me. From Simcha Kontmacher. Okay. I'll need to continue. Maybe you will try to join again. As I was saying, I was in Herzliya to meet with the Matrix DevOps team, where we presented our Confluence-based intranet solution called Linchpin. This is what I'm going to show you today. So you won't see any slides from me, but the product hands-on. I will just start now. We'll have time at the end of the webinar to discuss all your questions. For now, I will just walk you through. And if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat. We will answer them after the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and I will use my login screen right here to put in my credentials and sign myself in. As you can see, before I start on the dashboard, I get welcome to our intranet, meaning as a new user or as an employee, I will land on here where I will be asked to provide more information about me. So this is why I can image, which I've already did, and I can subscribe to news channels, and I can also specify my location information, for example. This is I work in Washington in the US in the building B2, room 310. As soon as I do that, as an employee from Washington, USA, I am landing on my dashboard right now. Let's see here. So what you see here is the Confluence-based intranet solution called Linchpin. Confluence, as you are all aware, is able to be enhanced by installing add-ons or apps from the Atlassian Marketplace. This is exactly what Linchpin is. It transforms the Confluence wiki into an intranet solution. This is why Confluence looks way different than you probably know it. We do have like the possibility to upload a logo, like your company logo, and obviously theme the intranet so it matches your own corporate design. Just to show you another example, this is our intranet with our corporate colors, black and green. And this is why you can, this is how you can embed your own corporate identity into the intranet. We have also added a navigation menu, which can contain internal as well as external links. And on a very prominent way, we customize the demo dashboard here to show corporate news. You see that I have different news channels right here. We do have like the global news, the news USA, the Washington news, and the marketing news. If I scroll further down, I can see some events like a user training or an agile conference, and some other information such as video tutorials or the onboarding assistant. The main thing about Linchpin, what makes it so special and distracts it from Confluence itself, is that every information you're seeing here right now is fully personalized based on my user profile. So you can see that I have a menu for Washington and everything is in English. And we can see also that there is news USA, news Washington, and marketing news. Because of the information I've put in my user profile, which is what you see right here. The user profile is extended, and here is where I will talk about this in a second, but here's where you see that I work in marketing in the Washington branch of the US. This is where I can just edit my profile, click on edit, and say, I work in human resources and also work in Germany, in Frankfurt. As soon as I do that and click save, my navigation changes in an instant. So now everything is German right here. And if I refresh my dashboard, just by refreshing the browser, you get to see I also have different news channels. Instead of the News USA, I have News Germany. Instead of News Frankfurt, instead of News Washington, I have News Frankfurt. And instead of marketing news, our news. Also, I have different events right here. So instead of the Confluence user training or the Agile conference, I get to see events specifically designed for the Frankfurt location. And also I have different information such as the canteen menu and so on. Everything you see right here is, as I said, based on my user profiles. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to edit my profile again and walk you through. You see that we have the possibility to profile categories and profile fields. Everything you see here is fully customizable. So just a demo configuration that for department, responsibilities, or location. If you only have one location, obviously you don't need to ask that from your users, then you wouldn't create those user profiles. And you can also choose different field types. For example, here I get to choose between different options, which are controlled by the administrator. This is where I have like free text fields where everyone can say what they want, like enter what they want. And also some expertise where I can say, I'm an expert in Confluence, Jira, but also in Salesforce and I speak Arabic, English, German, and I can also look for Hebrew. And I will switch myself back again to the Washington branch. So everything will be in English right now. As I said, again, everything here is customizable. And also you get to choose which to fill out by users and which part is controlled by IT. So what I'm is you can pull that information directly from your AD, your Active Directory, your user directory. So users don't need to fill in their profile fields themselves, but the IT controls all of that information. If I click on save, we'll check again. Now I work in marketing in Washington. This is why I have my Washington menu again, and it's English again. And this is still our old Frankfurt dash people. And now for the people from the US, if I refresh, just click on here. See, I have again different news channels. News USA, News Washington, and marketing news again. As I said, everything is based on the user profiles. The information in the user profiles can be stored on all pages. So let me just pull up one page. This is where you get to see that this is still Confluence. This is where the sidebar is. And this is where I've put like a macro, for example, where I say, show me all people who work in the US, including the branch, position, and phone number. And I can filter it down, people from HR, people from PR, or external users. Everything you know from Confluence, such as the Save for Later feature, is still available. We just changed the position a little bit. So if you're looking for pages you have saved for later, you just click on this right sidebar where you get to see all your favorite pages. so you can access them whenever you like. But also, there is like this contact search, which you can use to find your colleagues. For example, I can just search for Winter, and then you can see Pamela Winter works in Washington and is an expert in Confluence, Jira, and SAP. But you can also look for people who work specifically in Washington. Now, everyone who works in Washington will appear right here. Or you go ahead and say you're looking for an expert in Jira, and this expert preferably should be working in Washington and ideally speaks no French, but say Hebrew. Then you see only my profile and Pamela Winter's profile show up. So if I access Pamela Winter's profile, you see that she pulled up that she works in HR, she's an expert in Confluence, Jira, SAP, and she speaks English, Arabic, and Hebrew. This is an expert search that is integrated directly in the Confluence search, which every user can use to find an expert or someone who is responsible for a specific task within the organization, or just browse people by their names. So every name works. So if I'm looking just for Holmes, then you see Catherine Holmes will appear right here. And also you can choose which filter to select from. So you can say you're only looking in Washington for people who are experts in SAP, for example. Okay. Other than that, everything you know from Confluence is still available. So this is why you still get to create pages, blog posts, and whatever. So you can see that every team, every department, or every business unit, depends on how you want to structure it, gets their own space session. For example, you see the finance dashboard, which has a picture and like a display of issues, goals, tasks, and workspace, but also contact information that are pulled directly from the user profiles, as you can see right here. I can browse further, for example, look up the marketing team, and this is where you see the marketing space is structured the same way. They have a picture right here, short introduction, and again, issues, goals, tasks, and different contact persons. And as you see, like if I click on the HR space, I get to see a different theme, different colors, which only represents the feature that you can create multiple themes based on spaces you're navigating in. So every space can have a different customized theme. As the HR space is blue, the marketing space is pink, the finance space is yellow. It's completely up to you on how you configure it. You can also create different logos for every space. Everything is fully customizable, specifically designed for you. Then we get to have our project spaces. Basically, these are also just spaces that are used for projects. And we have a project called, in this case, Intranet Relaunch. As you can see here, everything still works the same. But what you also see right here is this microblog, which you can use to post short messages. So this is my message about this project. I get to post it right here, which will be published right here. And now users can like it or they can reply to it as I did right here. I can browse the communication. Everything is stored here within Confluence. So this timeline or this activity feed is the same as Facebook or Twitter, but directly integrated in Confluence and restricted by space level. So you can set up a hub of communication for every project space you have, or for every business unit, team space, department space you like. Now users can post their messages, and everything related to this project, aside from information that is pulled right here, can like all the communication regarding this project is centralized directly in Confluence, which is a great factor because you don't need to change the context or the medium. You don't rely on emails. If you have a specific question or an update regarding a project, you can directly use the microblog for that sort of communication. But not only that, you can also put the microblog, for example, on your dashboard, as you see right here. And this is where like people can use it as the same way you can use like Facebook to connect with each other. So if someone is selling their or make a short announcement, like Catherine says, she will be out of office until next Thursday. If there are any questions, please contact me beforehand. Or Pamela Winter, who announces something about like company sport events, is exactly how you can use it and how we use it, for example, in our own intranet. So everything about here is German. But for example, our marketing team is recording a new podcast and just pointing this out right here, and everyone can choose to like it or do whatever with it, what we want. Back to our right here. Everything also has a hub. For example, the microblog I just showed you. Portal page where every microblog from every space is aggregated. So as I said, every project space, every team space, every space gets to have its own microblog, and this is where you can filter it down. For example, if I have like this intranet relaunch filter, then everything is filtered to the specific space. Also, I can just go ahead and say, I also need something else. Only microposts for Washington, they will be rendered right here. It's fully customizable, and this is why as a user, I can say, I'm not interested in this project, which is why I unsubscribe from it. So now I don't see any news or updates in that communication hub for this project in that matter. But also, there is a hub for news, for example. You get to see it right here. This hub contains all updates, news that were posted within this intranet. So while on our dashboard, if I pull this up, we get to see the most current news, like these are the most updated news. This news hub acts like an archive where I get to see all news from all spaces that were created. Right here. As a user, I get to choose which filters I want to see. For example, I can say I only want to see news from Washington, and then those news will be filtered. I say news from Washington and news US or in global news should be pulled right here. Now I get to see more news. I can also filter by author, labels, news categories, or date range. This is especially practical because when we pull up a blog post, you can see it's the usual Confluence user interface. And if I open up the editor, you see it's still the same editor as you know it, with the difference that we have this right above the editor, which allows you to set a publication date and expiry date. You can pin posts to the dashboard so they appear there for a specific time period. You can add additional content such as a kicker or a lead paragraph, and set new Caesar options like pictures that are displayed right on the dashboard. So if we just compare right here, this is the picture. You can specify right here. The additional content, like the kicker and lead paragraph, will be right here. Like the page title here is finally access content when you are on the move, and the kicker is mobile internet try today. And this is where it will be displayed right here. Mobile internet try today, finally access content when you are home. And also this is the lead paragraph, which you can specify right here. As for categories, you get to choose as an editor if you have the permission to set up categories. I could say, for example, this news is not about employees, but it is about finance and sales, for example. Save the additional information and just update this blog post. So nothing changes. But if I refresh this dashboard, I only see the global news channel right here and also the news category right here. If I click on that, I get to see all news from the category finance and sales. And obviously, I can filter that down in my news hub as well, where I can say, only show me news from finance and sales. And then I get to see, instead of 30 different blog posts, I get to see 4 different blog posts, which have all the category finance and sales, which is also displayed just below the blog post when you open it up. All right. So if you still have questions, feel free to drop all your questions within the chat. We will talk about them, or I will try to answer them after the presentation right here. What we also have right here is like this events section. If I click on it, you get to see that I'd open up an event. And I can, for example, sign up for that. If I do that, I get a calendar invitation, which I can accept again. But right here, you get to see that I also can manage events within my intranet. So if I open up the event hub, you get to see all the different events that will take place within the organization. So there is a Confluence user training on 12th of November. There is a Linchpin demo on 18th of December. There is a Christmas party. And this is where I can go ahead and just sign myself in for events. And also I can set up like maximum attendees, and I can also connect them with event pages. So if I click on that, a new page will open up. We'll see it's the Confluence user training page where we can just provide more information. And here you can see that people can themselves in. I can sign myself in or sign myself out. Every time I do that, I can just see who else is participating. As I see Michael and I attending the Confluence user training right here. You can manage all kinds of events right here in this event hub. Super easy to create a new event. You just click on that and then you say Linchpin intranet. And you can see on the right side there is like a live preview. You can see it's starting today at p.m. and will end at 14. I can say this is about marketing. You can upload an image, set a location, but also set up like a category. For example, this is about training. I can connect an event page or set the maximum number of participants and say there are only 5 people allowed. So say if I've just created a new webinar event, which every user can sign themselves into if they'd like to. And I can also embed this as macro on my Confluence pages if I like. The other hub we have, the last one is the Launchpad, which is also available right here. So we have made the experience that a lot of intranet solutions are nothing but static linked lists with links to applications you're using within your organization. And this is the Launchpad right here. As an administrator, you can create like a tool library of every application you're using within your organization. And as a user, I get to subscribe to them. For example, I say, I work in marketing. This is why I need Google AdWords. I need Google Analytics, and also something, let's say I need Basecamp and Pinterest. If I subscribe to them, they will appear on the right side. So you see I have Google AdWords, Google Analytics, and also Pinterest right here. Everything here, like this overview of apps, makes it easier for your new employees to see through all that noise and see which applications are available. So they don't just create new accounts for new apps which are available within your organization. Obviously, this can be personalized as well. You can see, for example, all this social media tools right here: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. And this is because in my user profile, I stated that I work in marketing. So if I click on Edit Profile and say I work in HR, apps right here, except for 2, will disappear. So instead of Facebook, YouTube, and the others, I won't see them anymore because they are fully personalized to the user profiles again. Obviously, you can create as many apps as you like. You can create the categories, which you can filter them down, and you can also link desktop apps. So if you click on Microsoft Word will open up for that matter, if you'd like to. So as for that, since Confluence is a great wiki tool, which you can use to to have your employee handbooks or whatever you like to do within here. You can also create onboarding checklists, as you can see right here. So this can be like an overview of all your employees who are going to start soon or just recently started within your organizations. And you can see that they have all that kind of status, like Michael Miller is a newbie, Catherine Holmes is a rookie, and they have stars. If I click on the checklist, you get to see that a page that was created with a blueprint that finds out like who's your superior, where are you working, which department you're in, and when you started. And then there is like a checklist right here, which is categorized in socializing, organization, training, all that kind of information. And you can access all that, or you can now, as a task, as a new user employee, you can just walk them through. So you can say, there is a task for like write a microblog post where you introduce yourself. I can just click on that and you see that these are 2 stars. If I refresh, you see that I have now 7 stars instead of 5. So if I go ahead and set up my feedback meetings, click on 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars. You see I have 10 stars and my status changes. As I work through this checklist, as I see here, my status will continue to change. So now I've almost made everyone, and there's still only 18. So let's see, far more. So, and I'm a star again. So this is actually a very cool instrument to have your onboarding standardized and transparent for everyone. Obviously, you can set the permission. So you specify who's able to see the overview page. You can also say only your HR team is able to take a look at this overview page, and new employees get to see the checklists. But this is customizable as you like. You can also say instead of one global onboarding overview list, you get to have one overview employees for every department or for every team. So the marketing team has their own onboarding page, and the finance team has their own onboarding page, and so on. And everything will be displayed here on the onboarding page. And obviously, you get to choose which task they should set up. This is just the basic configuration with example tasks. So, all right. Obviously, what you also want to do is you want to create content. You still want to use this internet for your collaboration. This is what you still can continue to do, with the addition that, for example, I would say I want to create meeting note, as you can see here, and where I don't see the editor write promptly, but where I get to have a form, as I can see right here. So I can say, name of the meeting is Linchpin. Where is it taking place? Or when I say it's today. Who attends the meeting? I would say it's myself, Pamela Winter, and Catherine Holmes. Type of meeting, I can go ahead and say this is an information meeting, and goals, learn about Linchpin. Now all that information you see right here will be pulled and will be placed on predefined areas within the page. So as soon as this is loaded, you get to see that I automatically added the date into the title, including Linchpin webinar, and all the other information I just into that form will be placed right here, like attendees, type of meeting, goals, and learn about Linchpin. Right. You see, I set up the type of meeting as information, and when I publish this page, you see that I also automatically added information as a label. So this is what Linchpin, the Blueprint Creator, also allows you to create blueprints without needing to programming them. So just to show you how easy it works. So if you're a Confluence administrator, you just go back right here. You select that you want to edit the global templates and blueprints, and just edit it. So this is like the backend of what I just showed you. And say, for example, we didn't add room. So I will just go ahead and say, I want to create a new field for room and say, let's not room, so let's say location. So I can go ahead right here and say, click on plus and say, select location. Where is the meeting taking place? And say this is mandatory and set options as label. So I can say in Tel Aviv, Wiesbaden, or remote presentation. Can also sort them right here. Click on save. And now I've created a new placeholder, which I can move right here. I can see a preview of my page. So this is how the create dialog will look like if I create a new page using that blueprint. So you see I have location right here. If I don't want it to be the last one, I can say, just put it right here below date. And if I click on the preview, you see it's now right here. So if I click on save and I create a new page, say meeting notes, it's the same for the addition that I can also choose all that information right here. So I can say Linchpin webinar 2. When is the date? Again, today, attendees, this time Michael Schneider and Michael Miller and Catherine will, I would say this is a strategy meeting and goals. See how easy it is to create blueprints. Click on create. And all that information is pulled again right here, the date, the name of the page, and the attendees, also the goals and the location. If I publish now, you will see that I will have strategy and remote labeled on my page. That's how easy it is. This is where you can create blueprints for pages, for blog posts, and also for spaces. So because of the time, I won't show how it's done for the spaces, but you just click here, you can create a space that will exactly look like this and have blueprints, like a different template for department pages, for team spaces, or for project spaces, as you like. Obviously, you would also like to access all that information you're seeing right here on your mobile phone. So this is why there is also an app, as you can see. What you're seeing here is my iPhone screen, and as you can see, there is the possibility to download the Linchpin app, which is available for iOS and Android. And you see that there are two different apps right here: Cbit Media, I'm working for, and Linchpin. I'll open up the Linchpin app. This is where you get to see all the information we just saw on the dashboard directly on our mobile phone. So I can show, just open up this blog post, and I see that there is this blog information. I can like it, I can comment it. I have the microblog, which I can use to express my feelings. For example, just click on plus, where I can this is just sample post. And it will be published right here, as you can see. You can also browse the contacts. For example, I will just click on Catherine's profile and see all the information she provided on her. In her profile is also available right here. I can email her, I can call her directly if I'd like to, and also message her through chat, even though there is no chat functionality in the Linchpin intranet. But let's say you are using Microsoft Teams, Slack, or whatever you're using. If I click on that, it will automatically open up the messenger that is installed on your phone. And also, I can browse all Confluence pages and Confluence spaces and look up for information. I could say corporate here, right here. So this is how the corporate goals on my mobile phone. If I, just to show you how it looks right here. Like this is the desktop version of that. You will see on my phone, it's rendered or responsive to your iPhone screen right here. Obviously, you get to set more settings again right here. You can see your favorite pages, the pages you just recently viewed, or you can also make settings for sending analytics data, but also enable face and fingerprint recognition. So you can force your users to, if they want to use their mobile app, to have advanced security options such as a PIN code or face or fingerprint recognition, depending on the device they are using. All right, here I also have the CWET Media app, and the CWET Media app is basically the same as the app I just presented, but with a different branding. So this is how it's possible to have your own intranet app that is available on the App Store or on the Google Play Store with your own name. Employees wouldn't download the Linchpin intranet app, but the intranet app of your company, and it would also be able to brand that, so you have your own and your own color scheme, and everything I see right here will be available here on my intranet. So let's just pull that up. So on the left side, you can see my iPhone screen. On the right side, there is the desktop. And if I scroll them both down, see that I get to see all kind of information that is on my dashboard, also on the desktop. All right. And here again, I can participate on the microblog. So this is like the post we just saw. I can, for example, comment on this post and say, cool. Thanks for sharing. Send. Now, if I update this micro post right here, you can see that the post I just made is also immediately published on the desktop version of that. And again, I get to see my own contacts here, all the specific pages and spaces within our own intranet, which is fully customizable as you like. Okay. Just a quick overview of all the Linchpin features. Obviously, that there are still many more information I could show you, but since we only 2 minutes of time for questions, I would like to get into that. You can also ask me to demonstrate a feature into more detail if you'd like to. Feel free to ask any questions now in the chat. I will continue with the chat. I see there's a question. Is it okay to allow people to update their own profiles? Based on that, they will have different permissions. I expect that only an admin should be able to change that. That depends on the profile information. Let me just show you what I mean. So, profile field, you get to determine the source. So if you say you want to have like this information about location should only be done by administrators, you can't do that. And you say only administrator can change the user profiles. Like a user cannot change the information about this branch, but you can select it for every profile field individually. So you can say all this here, like everything in the individual information is controlled by an administrator. The rest, the user can customize themselves. So this would be possible. And it's also the right way as a best practice is as we see it, because users are far more faster when it comes to updating profile information. If they rely on IT to do that for them, it also always takes some time. Profiles get updated, and so you see wrong information on the intranet. So a healthy balance between what users can do and what an administrator can do is always appreciated. That question. this. Question? Welcome, Judith. Any question, feel free to ask. Yeah. Okay. If there's no more question, feel free to reach out to the Matrix DevOps team if you would like to have a private demo again. What we can always do is we can give you a customized, personalized demo environment. Personalized demo environment, which so you can see how it will look like with your own corporate design and with your own specific requirements. There was one question, what about the mobile app? Is it full featured? Everything you just saw on my mobile app is possible, is like directly possible. What you cannot do with the Linchpin mobile app is you cannot create pages. You can comment on pages, you can write on the microblog, you can comment on blog posts, but you cannot create content. The idea behind the app is to get information consumed by your users. So wherever they are, they can always access that content. So it's not designed to create content, but to consume information and give short feedbacks by using comment sections. Do your assistance in building it? Yes, we do. This is why we are working with Matrix DevOps. They are certified Linchpin partners. They got special training, and they are able to assist you in building your own individual intranet. So since it's based on Confluence, we just start on Confluence level, and then we install the Linchpin intranet suite. And to understand how it should be configured, this is where Matrix DevOps comes in. It helps you with the conceptions, asking the right questions, getting information from all different stakeholders. Yeah, assistance. Another question, it's not part of the price, but additional service should be purchased from them. Like the Linchpin app can be purchased by directly through Matrix, if you like, and they also offer additional services. Like any questions when it comes to configuration, something doesn't work, you need a little bit support. Obviously, this is free and included in the license price. Everything above that, like conception, configuration, support, or training, is an additional service. And Hila makes me aware that everything is recorded. It will be published in the YouTube channel, so you can rewatch this. And again, feel free to reach out to the Matrix team to set up a personal demo. Welcome, Judith. I guess that's it. It was a pleasure showing you what Linchpin can do. If you like to see more, reach out to the Matrix DevOps teams, and we will talk soon. Thank you very much.